anything posted in 7 months. So if you don't continue to do it, you drop the ball, and because what people do is they Google it, they see it, and so forth. But I think you can do a lot of PR, like Dave said, with very little budget and so forth.
You know, it's funny that the credibility of a PR story ends up making your franchise brand look so much bigger. On a side note, so all of our clients, one of our requirements are they need to be working with a PR company. We're a little partial towards Sanderson Consulting up in Chicago, but one of these success stories was one of the companies that we work with isn't the sexiest of concepts, but it was one of the franchisees, a new franchisee in Miami. She was an ex-Burger King. It was a Burger King marketing person, and she became a franchisee, and the PR firm went in and completely not twisted a story, but made it relevant and newsworthy and human interest story. And she was front page of the Miami Herald on a Tuesday. And on Wednesday, she was the front page of the business section, front page on Los Angeles Times, Chicago Tribune. It was in the Dallas Morning News, not front page, but Dallas Morning News, the Boston Globe. I mean, she literally went global. You can't pay for that kind of advertising. So.
What other questions? There are a ton of questions. I think we have room for about 4 more minutes here.
Could you name some PR firms? Yeah, would you mind naming a few PR firms that you've worked with?
Yes, Sanderson Consulting. There's also Brad Fishman. I think it's Fishman.
Yeah, I was going to say Brad Fishman and his group as well. BizCom and Fish Consulting out of Florida. Lauren Fisher.
They're all
also one actually in Waco. And is it Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stephen Dixon Children's Lighthouse. There's one that's just left Fishman by the name of Jamie Isaacs. It's called All Points, and he'll do it. He's hungry and starting up. He'll do it for a less retainer than the bigger ones will. So it's a good thing. Dave, I was going to ask you, what's your best self-directed outsourced company do you think is out there?
Best self-directed outsourced company. Well, to me, I think the gold standard right now is Process Peak. I own 100% of the company. No, I'm kidding. I wish I did, because they're to me right now, they're the Nirvana solution. And I don't know who uses Process Peak here, but Fran Connect's very good. Anything that kind of seamlessly engages the process or the prospect through the process without making them feel sold, and allows them to slow simmer, warm up, and not peak them too early, but not let them just stay stale. So I think Process Peak, Fran Connect's very good, and I know there's a lot of systems out there that just use ACT and Salesforce.com, but I don't know anybody else can weigh in here.
I would echo the Process Speak. Good friend of mine's franchise, and that's where I turned them to. And then Fran Connect is what I've used in the past as too. So those two brands. But back on the PR thing, one thing, just don't hire somebody that's really not proven it, especially to pay a retainer. What I always did is I started lower and say, let's evaluate it in 90 days or 6 months, and then let's see if you're spending more time on it or whatever. You have to understand, I was talking to this agency daily about things, so you can do it a lot less. So.
One thing we haven't mentioned, and it's interesting, I used to, if you had asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have kind of poo-pooed the whole notion of profiling tools or assessments. And I'm telling you, I'm sold, absolutely sold. I'm a disciple of these things now, and they really could be very insightful. I used to think they were fluffy, and they just kind of borrow your watch to tell you what time it is kind of stuff. And right now, that is something that's really I think important for a franchisor to have, not just to have as a window dressing tool for the candidate, but really to gain insight into whether or not they're the right fit, because they can be cancerous if not, and they'll stunt your growth. If you get the wrong guy in there, wrong gal in there, you'll never hit your growth spurt.
Can you give an example of one?
So there's, again, another company I own. No, I'm kidding. I would say there's a number of them. Franchise Profiles, Fred Burney. There's McQuaig Survey with Accord Management Systems out of California. I don't know if anybody else, what else people have used. There's Proven Match, right? Yep, that's very good. So there's a number, and some of it just you need to engineer it appropriately and tell the tool what to look for. So otherwise, it's garbage in, garbage out.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock even. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's event. Appreciate it.
Just like to thank the panelists again, and for Jason, our moderator. Everybody was wonderful, and thank you all for coming out this morning, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.